Good morning and welcome. I'm Kathy Underwood, the Director of Lifespan Religious Education. Whether the Unitarian Church of Evanston is your spiritual home, or are you seeking comfort and connection in uncertain times, we are grateful you are with us. We are an inclusive and welcoming community seeking truth and love and striving to nurture the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us matters and that we are all connected through the vast and beautiful web of existence. Together, let us remember our oneness, our kinship with one another, and may we hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention. There are many links of connection in the comments below, including credits for readings, to virtual religious education, for donations, and to be added to our newsletter. A few announcements. The All Church Zoom meeting continues on Wednesdays at 5:30. The reminder and Zoom link are emailed in the early afternoon on Wednesday. We'll hold a virtual coffee and conversation time after the service for 30 minutes on Zoom. You can find the link to the Zoom coffee hour in the comments below or from the newsletter. Today at 2 p.m., the Nonfiction Book Group invites you to a discussion of An American Summer, Life and Death in Chicago. We are pleased and honored that the author, Alex Kotlowitz, will be joining the discussion. The book looks deeply into the stories behind the incidents of violence in Chicago during the summer of 2013. You can find the link to the Zoom discussion in the newsletter. Finally, this Wednesday evening, the Adult RE program offers the Infrastructure of Morality, led by Rob Gager. Details are also in the newsletter. And now, I invite you to get your chalices ready to set a place for yourself and your family as we join in beloved community for this special worship service, celebrating our lifelong learning and growing together as Unitarian Universalists. Many minds, hearts, and bodies came together to create this service, and we are grateful to all who have participated. We begin with this video recorded by Louella Kornfeld, age 6, reading a poem by Silverstein.
This book is called Where the Sidewalk Ends, and it's by Silverstein. And the poem that I'm reading for you today is called Listen to the Mustn'ts, and I'm going to start now. Listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts. Listen to the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves. Listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be.
I'll tell you now, and you'd best believe all kids can learn. Every kid has their own style, every kid has their own speed. Watch them closely for a while to find out what they need. All kids can learn, all kids can learn. I'll tell you now, and you'd best believe all kids can learn. Technology can help so much if you don't forget that human touch. Blend it together, add lights and sound, you'll have the brightest class around. All kids can learn, all kids can learn. I'll tell you now, and you'd best believe all kids can learn. School can be such a happy place, got to put on a happy face. Now's the moment, so do not wait. Tell those kids I think you're great. All kids can learn, all kids can learn. I'll tell you now, and you'd best believe all kids can learn. When you've had a productive day, who learns the most? It's hard to say. Kids learn from peers and books and you. When you work together, you learn lots too. All kids can learn. All kids can learn. I'll tell you now, and you'd best believe all kids can learn. All kids can learn. Everybody, all kids can learn. I'll tell you now, and you'd best believe all kids can learn.
We light our chalices in northern Illinois on the traditional homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Odawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi nations. Many other tribes, such as the Miami, Menominee, Ho-Chunk, Sac, and Fox, also called this area home. Located at the intersection of several great waterways, the land naturally became a site of travel and healing for many tribes. We name these in honor and respect. We also say a prayer of protection for the Mashpee Wampanoag and their homelands. A court hearing to safeguard their lands is this week on May 7th. Please join in saying these words. We light this chalice on the threshold of all we are becoming, on the precipice of opening, on the verge of what is yet to be, on the bank of the river flowing toward the sea. Each of us is at the doorway of what is next, in the space between what was and what will come, bathing in the sun-splashed hallway of a new beginning. All of life is a threshold, and we, arriving and arrived, awaiting and awaited, join at that threshold of possibility which life offers. Please join in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our hymn this morning is number 389, Gathered Here, led by the Kornfeld Wild and Lawrence families. Please sing along.
Gather here in the mystery of the hour. Gather here in one strong body. Gather here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gather here in the mystery of the hour. Gather here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
Do you remember that book, All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten by Robert Fulghum? It's a humorous look at the basics of respect that everyone should know in order to be good human adult beings. You know, things like share, play fair, and say you're sorry. Imagine what our world would be like if everyone, from astronauts to delivery people, to food servers, to mechanics, to parents, to politicians, to zookeepers. All people truly embraced these things and lived out these values. Today, I'd like to suggest a possible new book, perhaps a bit shorter, but no less important. All I really need to know, I learned with Unitarian Universalists. I'm sure that many of you would gladly share your thoughts and ideas to go into this book, and I'm being the raised person I am, I would entertain all ideas from many different perspectives and reword them until they were just right. So here is a list of the 5 things all ages learn with Unitarian Universalists. First, treat others as you want to be treated, because all people deserve to be. Yes, even the bully on the playground, or in the committee meeting, or in the White House, because you don't know their whole life story. These are our first and second principles, that each and every person is important, and to accept each other and learn together. Second, be open to other viewpoints and beliefs. We can't know all the answers to life's questions, so we must be willing to truly listen to other people's life experiences and learn from them too. Our fourth principle calls us to search for what is right and true for ourselves. This means we shouldn't pass judgment on someone because they think or believe differently. Rather, we should be willing to listen and see things from their perspective, and then decide if it is something that rings true for ourselves. We also learned about all sorts of spiritual practices, so we can use the ones that help us most in our lives. Third, help others whenever and however you can. There are so many people, animals, and places that need our help. It is overwhelming. So we need to do what we can, given our abilities, resources, time, and energy. Our sixth principle challenges us to work for a fair, free, and peaceful world. Acts of kindness go a long way towards creating a world made whole. Fourth, take part in democracy. Our fifth principle tells us we all have a responsibility to participate in democracy in the ways that we can, no matter what age we are. This is even more important now. We must give the smallest, quietest voices a place to be heard. This, of course, means not only our youngest people, but those from marginalized groups. Everyone should have a vote in the things that affect and matter to them. Fifth, offer care and compassion. This connects with all the previous points and more. Our seventh principle tells us to care for our planet and that all things are connected in the web of life. If we truly care for all living things and show our compassion for all, we will build relationships and community wherever we are. We all want the need to feel connected to others and to know our place in the universe. We discover these by being in relationship to our environment and each other. And so today we celebrate our lifelong learning, the people that it touches, and those who have blessed us with their gifts along the way. Our preschool, kindergarten, and first graders explored the Soul Matters themes this year along with our older children and youth. One of the things we learned about was our UU sources, and then we made chalices from champagne glasses. We learned a lot about our world, as well as some of our UU rituals, such as lighting a chalice, joys and concerns. Our most important learnings, however, are on how to treat others with compassion and respect.
Hello, second and third graders. It's Janice, and I've missed our time together. Most of all, getting creative and crafty, but also opening the mystery box. So, I thought we'd open one now. Mira? What's inside?
It's a dandelion.
Have you all seen some dandelions in your yard?
Lots
Or,
of dandelions.
yeah, or maybe just on a walk around your neighborhood?
Mhm.
Well, they remind me of a poem by Silverstein, Where the Sidewalk Ends. There is a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins, and there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight, to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black, and the dark street winds and bends, past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow. We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk-white arrows go. To the place where the sidewalk ends, yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we will go where the chalk-white arrows go. For the children they mark, and the children they know. The place where the sidewalk ends. This poem reminds me how children teach us to walk off the beaten path, often finding treasures that we wouldn't have discovered if we stayed on the sidewalk. Keep up your discoveries until we see each other
Hello
again.
everyone, Carolyn Toporek here, and I've had the pleasure of being one of the teachers in the 4th and 5th grade class this year, a class that also one of my daughters has participated in. And I gotta tell you, I really miss meeting with the students on a regular basis and sharing our joys and concerns with one another, practicing meditation techniques, guessing what's in the wonder box and what the theme of the week is gonna be, creating art with one another, and certainly laughing together. I miss that a lot. One of the themes we explored this year was resilience, the skill and the practice of being brave in the face of things that challenge us and challenge our integrity. Through our exploration of this topic, we discovered that we have a valuable tool within us called grit, the courage and even the stubbornness to keep on going in the face of challenge or when obstacles are put in our way. The students didn't waste any time sharing the different ways that they tap into their inner grit, and they shared with one another the different ways they cope with difficult situations. For example, by talking with a friend, by reading, by taking deep breaths, by exercising, by asking for help, or by using positive self-talk strategies and telling themselves that they can do this and that they're going to be okay. We found that we can all use some grit to help us make it through those difficult times, even when they seem like they're never going to end. At the end of each class, we looked to our UU principles to find the ones that connected with our weekly theme. We discussed the value of these 7 principles and how we could go about our week practicing the strategies related to them in our personal lives, within our community, and within our world. I'm grateful to you, CE, for giving me the opportunity to grow and to learn with the students. And there is no doubt in my mind that our students are tapping into their inner grit and doing just that. Take care, everyone.
Hey everybody, good morning. This is Reed Larson Earth, and today I'm going to be reading to you one of the Calvin and Hobbes comic strips by Bill Hill Watterson. Let's say life is this square of the sidewalk. We're born at this crack, and we die at that crack. Now we find ourselves somewhere inside the square, and in the process of walking out of it. Suddenly, we realize our time in here is fleeting. Is our quick experience here pointless? Does anything we say or do in here really matter? Have we done anything important? Have we been happy? Have we made the most of these precious few footsteps? And what more wise thing is there than to look at your life and see what you've done and what you would like to do? Thank you.
If you were a dreamer, come in. If you were a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer, if you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in. Come in.
The UCE Junior High Group began the year by getting to know one another, creating a class covenant, and examining our Unitarian Universalist values.
We like this chalice in gratitude for the path we share.
A path that guides us back to our deepest self, back to each other, and back to life's gifts and joy.
Soon we were off on our great learning expedition, the Crossing Paths curriculum. Drawing on a long tradition of visit-based UU curricula going back 70 years, Crossing Paths emphasizes religious pluralism while providing experiential learning and family-centered activities. Our class explored a variety of religious traditions throughout the year, each study unit culminating in a summit day field trip. We learned about liberation theology, being an upstander, and how to listen for that still, small voice within. Our students gained a deeper understanding of Judaism, Islam, the American Black Church tradition, Buddhism, and Quakerism, while also understanding that we've barely scratched the surface of the infinite wisdom and learning available in these neighboring faith traditions. Shortly after we joined our neighbors at Beth Emmet for Shabbat service, Cantor Rabbi Kotler wrote, "This cross-pollination of religious learning will lead to a more tolerant, verdant society. Thank you for allowing us all to worship and learn together." Words that describe our junior high crew include energetic, thoughtful, curious, kind, open to new ideas, and fiercely inclusive. Equipped with new perspectives and a grounding in our Unitarian Universalist principles, I feel confident that each one of them will make a meaningful difference in our world.
In the days ahead, may we stay close to our deepest and truest selves. May we keep connected to each other. And may we remember to lean into life's joy.
Good morning, everyone. It's such a joy to be with you and to share these many voices and talents and gifts of learning of our whole community. We invite you now to write your joys and sorrows, your concerns and gratitudes in the chat. And if you can, please enter them in all caps so that it's easier to distinguish them from other comments. We've come to realize that some of these are not coming through for reasons that we don't fully understand. So if I miss yours, please know that it is not intentional. I invite you to send me an email and I can read it at the next Sunday's service. I have some of those from last week. Please enjoy this piece played by our own Gregory Schifrin while you're entering your joys and sorrows in the chat. These are the joys and sorrows that have been shared. A sorrow from last Sunday from Jennifer Crosby that her husband, John Hancock, was admitted to Glenbrook Hospital last Friday. Well, this was a week ago Friday with COVID-19. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. I understand that John is doing better and improving, and that is good news. From last week, Bridget Wild shared a sorrow and gratitude on behalf of Louella, Teddy, Kirby, herself, and her husband Ben for the passing of Grumpster Ron Landsman, Ben's grandfather, who passed due to COVID and led a very big and generous life. We are so sorry for his loss. Janice Wood shared sorrow, keeping her cousin Anne and husband Pat in our thoughts as he grapples with worsening health from pancreatic cancer. So sorry, Janice. From Ellen Boyer, I am joyful that my daughter-in-law, Dr. Stephanie Boyer, is having some needed relaxation and fun by celebrating her birthday today with our son Brett and grandchildren Matthew and Nathan in their Milwaukee home. My concern is for the safety and health of Stephanie and the family as she treats COVID-19 patients in her emergency room during the unknown number of weeks and months to come. Please keep her and the family in your thoughts and prayers. From Trudy Davis, I am happy to celebrate my oldest daughter Sarah's 40th birthday. She and her husband have continued cooking gourmet meals for each other during their quarantine in Spain. From Don McGregor, his concern that food pantries are getting enough supplies to feed their growing clientele. The food pantry he volunteers at in Irving Park is now serving over 200 clients. If you can donate food or money to your local pantry, please do. Don encourages us. The Greater Chicago Food Depository's website is included. From Tom Hempfling, two joys. An extended family Zoom gatherings are going well, thanks partially to our UCE Zoom training, and New York Bagel in Bialy, where we have normally gotten our Sunday morning bagels, is reopened, so please consider patronizing them. Amy Grabowski is happy to celebrate happy birthday to husband Greg, who we celebrated with a Zoom birthday party with our kids. Happy birthday, Greg. Joe Romeo is grateful for the crisp, clean, sunny morning with 6-year-old happy stomping feet upstairs. Janelle Britton, blessings to my neighbor and his family who died of COVID last week. Melanie Kitchener is thrilled that her grandkids had a nice walk in the forest preserve, which included lots of jumping in mud puddles. George Monaco shares the joy for this inspirational, talented congregation. Jessica Maxwell, I am very grateful for my beautiful family. Janelle Britton says, I meant the neighbor died, not the whole family, of course. Yes, we're very sorry for that loss. And Marlene MacArthur Frickman, grateful my daughter Leah and I found our new UU home here. Thank you and welcome, Marlene and Leah. Andrew Fisher, warmer weather with blue skies. I'm assuming that's a joy that is shared by many of us. Diane Markles shares the joy of such a talent in this congregation. Thank you all. And Gregory, your fingers sing as usual. Natalie Lawson is also grateful for the opportunity I've spent the RE year with amazing youth in the senior high youth group. Sally Parsons, I am grateful for my family and friends. As I sit in isolation due to exposure to the virus, I emerge tomorrow safe and sound. That is a joy, Sally. Donna Schiller shares, I'm grateful for our inspirational RE family. Amy Stanton is grateful that Dorothy Stanton is is more stable and receiving home health care in Arizona. That is good news. Eric Schwabe says, the Salmon Schwabe family here to express gratitude for the great high school youth group leaders. Thank you with love from Jen's family. And from Jolynn Cotton, thank you to our young people and their leaders for their sharing today, inspiring Craig and Jolynn. And from N. Kramer, Nicole Kramer, congratulations to all graduating seniors with special love to our daughter, Rowan. Those are the many joys and sorrows which are on our hearts, and we know there are many more that remain unspoken. Together we share our celebrations and we lessen the burden of our grief. Please join me for this prayer written by Reverend L.A. McCrae. Source of all that is living, as we gather this morning, mindful of the mystery of thresholds, calm our uneasy and anxious spirits. May we open to the mystery and blessings of what awaits on the other side of great transition. Allow love and light to penetrate places of fear, desperation, hopelessness, and despair. Encourage our spirits and strengthen our connections so that we may be a threshold people. Give us the certainty to walk with those who are standing at the thresholds of indecision, uncertainty, and doubt. Provide for us the courage to speak truth to power. May we continue to love unapologetically. Let this love carry us from indecision and doubt to peace and resolve. Be with us now and always, holding us in the tender moments of growth. Our sung response is, may nothing evil cross this door.
May nothing evil cross this door, and may ill fortune never pry about these windows. May the roar and rain go by. By faith made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. This hearth, though all the world grow chill, will keep you warm. Peace shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into a shrine. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and hold love in.
UCE remains a vital part of the world and our community. And because we continue to need one another in the blessings of community, we take this time to invite you to give to our shared plate. Today's offering will be shared with the Poor People's Campaign of Illinois, which has picked up the unfinished work of Martin Luther King's 1968 Poor People's Campaign. From Alaska to Arkansas, the Bronx to the border, people are coming together to confront the interlocking evils of systemic racism, poverty, ecological devastation, militarism, and the war economy, and the distorted moral narrative of religious nationalism. We understand that as a nation, we are at a critical juncture, that we need a movement that will shift the moral narrative, impact policies and elections at every level of government, and build lasting power for poor and impacted people. The shared plate from UCE goes directly to Illinois Poor People's Campaign to continue building broad-based movement. The Illinois Poor People's Campaign has joined many groups to support affordable housing in Evanston, environmental advocacy in Springfield, and a $15 minimum wage protest at McDonald's headquarters in Chicago. The Mass Poor People's Assembly and Moral March on Washington is going digital. On June 20th, we will hold the largest digital and social media gathering of poor and low wealth people, moral and religious leaders, advocates, and people of conscience in this nation's history. You can learn more about the Poor People's Campaign by visiting their website. Please give as generously as you are able, and may what you give bring you joy. You can text to give, send in a check, or give from our website. If you send in a check, please remember to indicate in the memo line if you'd like it to apply to the shared plate for this month, to your pledge, or elsewhere. Thank you.
4 years ago, on the Friday just before Mother's Day, I discovered in the window box at the front of my house, right where I was about to plant some pansies, a round bowl of twigs nestled in the dry dirt, and in that nest were 4 small blue robin's eggs. Those poor birds had no idea what they were in for when they built their nest where I could watch them incessantly for weeks. I was obsessed. I watched the babies hatch, marveled at their instinctual reaching up and stretching their necks, beaks agape, whenever a shadow passed over. I watched as they were fed, saw 2 of them die, and then the other 2 survive against all odds through pounding rain and exposure to the sun. I watched their clumsy departure, falling rather than flying from the nest. I watched them hop around the yard and into the street. I watched all of this just as my oldest was graduating from high school and preparing to leave our nest. Nature offering me, as she often does, a perfect metaphor. I have never looked at robins or any birds the same since witnessing this life, growth, and transition. I keep hoping for the birds to build their nest again in that window box, but as with so many moments in life, these treasured experiences need to be savored in their time and released to cherished memory. All we can carry forward is the person we become, the person shaped by the wisdom gained through experience. Our lives are filled with passages when we cross from one way of being in the world to another in an instant. Moments when we know we are different and there can be no turning back. It was that kind of threshold when I said goodbye to my kid in front of the dorm room 4 years ago. Such a deep, bittersweet sorrow, knowing that of course this threshold must be crossed. And yes, there was much to look forward to ahead, but there was also loss and fear of the unknown. Each of us is continuously learning and growing into our new selves, knowing things now that we didn't know before, capable of doing things we couldn't do before, with understanding and wisdom that can't be lost, only added to. And as we greet each new self that emerges, we must release what was, who we were, what we knew and believed, to make room for what might grow up within us. At our very core, we Unitarian Universalists value the human capacity to learn and grow, to add value to each other's lives, to create meaning together, and strive for a better world. We dedicate ourselves to each other in the precious endeavor of growing in mind and spirit. Our striving here, all of us, of every age, is to nurture one another and to practice beloved community so that we can grow in our capacity to help one another, to be kind and responsible, to expand freedom of expression and empower ourselves and others to create a more equitable and loving world. As a faith community, we mark the passages of our lives and celebrate all that we are and all that we are becoming. Today, we recognize and celebrate especially the growth and learning of our young people. From the very youngest who enter the world growing so quickly before our eyes, learning to trust and explore with wonder and joy. We honor the questioning and curious explorers, the wanderers and dancers, the music makers and singers, and those who speak and shout and cry out for justice. We honor those moving from one stage to the next, overcoming challenges, gaining new skills, making new friends, and developing resilience. We honor those who have and continue to offer hope, serve with joy, and lift us all up with laughter. And we honor those who are finishing high school, concluding their time with the UCE youth group and moving into young adulthood. Rowan Kramer Mann, Jen Schwabe, and Maddie Finkel. We are proud to have traveled with you these years, and we are filled with hope for you as you move from one part of your life to the next. You've completed high school, not in the way you probably imagined you would, but with integrity, creativity, and courage you couldn't have prescribed. You have worked hard and grown to become the people you are now, equipped with the values and principles you have been given by your family, your community, and this faith. Nothing can erase the wisdom you've gained through these relationships. Take with you the lessons learned among Unitarian Universalists of answering the call of love, the importance of service, the value of truth with freedom and responsibility, and a commitment to work for justice. Know that this congregation supports you no matter how far you travel. You will always have a faith home to return to, and remember that you carry Unitarian Universalist lessons learned and values instilled inside you always. Now we will hear a reflection from one of our high school seniors, Rowan Kramer Mann, followed by words of welcome and encouragement from several of our young adults.
Hi everyone, I'm Rowan Kramer Mann. Like many, many others, my life has been completely changed because of this pandemic. Many of the events I was looking forward to, including my varsity badminton season, my first prom, senior night, my final choir concert, and of course graduation, have been canceled or changed drastically. It's been a difficult time for many seniors, although I know that in the scheme of things, it's not really that important. However, in the midst of this, there have been a few positives in my life. My family and I started fostering a pregnant cat named Frances, who soon gave birth to 6 adorable balls of fluff. They are 3 weeks old now, but they're already walking, meowing, and playing with each other. Seeing how fast they have grown up really brought a lot into perspective for me in terms of my own childhood. 17 years really is not a long time, as I have learned, although it feels much longer to me. Throughout my childhood, I would argue like crazy with my moms on Sunday mornings to try to get out of going to church. Of course, most of the time it never worked, and I reluctantly went to my RE classes, pouting the whole way. However, of course, my moms are right, and although I didn't enjoy the classes sometimes, I learned a lot, and I eventually came to love them. I am so grateful for my RE classes, for teaching me how to accept other people and cultures, and for open discussion, which helped me to develop my own beliefs. More than ever, I am grateful for my wonderful youth group leaders and the time we spend. We've been having Zoom calls on Sunday nights, and they are really great. I really love seeing everyone's pets and talking about Harry Potter. Looking ahead, I've decided to attend college at Northwestern University, and I will be majoring in computer science and biology. I hope to join a lab and perform research during my time there, and perhaps study abroad too. My eventual goal is to work on finding cures for genetic diseases, as I really want to make people's lives better. I just want to end this by saying thank you to my amazing youth group leaders, Mike, Chris, Allie, Maxine, and Natalie, to my youth group as a whole, and to my wonderful 2 moms and my brother. Thank you all for listening. I am so grateful for this community.
Hi, Jen, Rowan, and Maddie. Congratulations on finishing senior year, especially with the added challenge. I know it was probably very difficult at some points, but I'm so amazed at everything that you guys have done and excited for you to begin this next chapter. And if I had advice for my 17 and 18-year-old self, I would say, besides have better hair, I would say just go forward and be brave and be open-minded to new things and to changing, because you might change a little bit and continue to change, and that's okay, because life will bring you a lot of new experiences and people, and it's better just to approach it with open arms and an open mind instead of trying to maintain an image of any kind. Just be yourself. I know you hear that all the time, but the quicker you are yourself in college or a job, the quicker you find the people who really, really matter instead of people who might be on the surface more. I don't think any of you will have a problem with doing this because you are all fabulous, unique individuals, but just try to keep that in mind as you go forward and know that all of us at UCE are backing you at every minute of every day.
Hey Jen, Rowan, and Maddie. Congratulations on your graduation. I hope you guys are really proud of all that you've accomplished in high school. It's such a huge accomplishment, so congrats. It's been really great to get to know all three of you over the last year in youth group. And I think I'm supposed to be giving advice, so if I had to give advice to myself at your age, I would tell myself to remember to be kind to yourself. College can be really stressful and it's a big change, but there's so much growth that happens in college and right after college, and that's really exciting. It's all, helping you become the person that you're meant to be, and hope that you remember, like I said, to be kind and trust that you're where you're supposed to be, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So congratulations again, and I wish you the best of luck.
Hello, my name is Lizzie Powers, and if I could tell my 17 to 18-year-old self something now that I'm 33 years old, I think what I would tell myself is that life is not going to go according to plan or the way that you necessarily want it to, but it's going to go in a way that will be best for you and will help you grow the most and be the most complete person that you can be. I went to college and I majored in theater, and my whole plan was that I wanted to, right after graduating college, go to grad school so I could become a professor and teach theater to other college kids. And I did not end up getting into any grad schools, so I did not end up going to grad school to become a professor. Instead, I worked at a lot of just like little theaters around Chicago, and I've had a lot of weird jobs that I never thought I would have, but it ended up really working out good, and now I have a job that I really like, and I have great friends and a good partner, and I wouldn't turn my life into anything other than what it is. So you have a really good plan right now of how you want your life to go. And when it doesn't go that way, or when it takes a left turn instead of a right turn, or maybe you go around in circles for a little bit, don't worry so much about it, because it's going to work out the way that it should. And you're going to become a good person as long as you just keep your head up and keep going forward.
Good morning. My name is Forrest Marie, and I grew up in this beloved congregation. I went through my own bridging ceremony almost 10 years ago. I am honored to celebrate you today in yours. I have but a few brief words of advice. Put your big love into those relationships that matter to you, and begin to believe in the transformative power of time. Over years and years, just as today you are not who you were when you were 6, you will not be who you are now when you are 26. There's much to be grieved and celebrated in these transformations, and so too can your relationships with your loved ones blossom and shift and transfigure throughout your life beyond your wildest hopes. If you choose to be patient, to be persistent, and to be passionate with your love.
We invite you all now to participate from home in this intergenerational ritual of honoring those who are moving from youth to young adulthood. Whether you are looking forward to that time of life or looking back at it, we all hold these important moments, these important life passages together as a community. These words were written by Jane Turin. They will appear on the screen and you are invited to join along. Rowan, Maddie, and Jen, though there is no precise line you are crossing or particular doorway you are going through, you have been approaching this threshold for quite some time. Know that you are held in love and supported by this, your faith community. We recognize and celebrate all that has brought you to this moment, and we pray for the courage, strength, and wisdom inside you to emerge as you need it. You are not alone. Folks at home, feel free to read along to whatever part you fit into.
Today we honor the youth among us, you who are stepping beyond and away and toward. Today we share in your journey and encourage your discovery.
Today we welcome your energy and offer you a safe place to grow. Today we celebrate your hopes and dreams. Come live, breathe, thrive, rejoice. Your time is now.
Today we applaud you for all you have been, for all you are now, and for all you will be.
Today marks an ending, so that I may begin again, to hope and learn and do and be.
Today you cross this bridge. Go now and explore
with wonder.
We will support and nurture
you.
You are
the future.
Today you cross this bridge. Go now and make choices that make you happy. We will support and nurture you. You are amazing.
Today you cross this bridge. Be patient and hopeful. We will support and nurture you. You are an inspiration.
Today I cross this bridge and join in fellowship. Let me grow, but don't let me go.
Together we share a special place. Together we learn. Together we love. Together we grow.
Go forth, because we are always going forth from somewhere.
Going from our homes, our childhoods, going from our cities and countries, going from innocence to experience to enlightenment.
Going into mystery and questions, going into the desert, getting to the other side.
Go forth, leave behind the comfort and community of one place, head into the anxiety and loneliness of another.
Carry with you the love and laughter of this place, and let it light your way. Carry with you the wisdom you learned and the good memories. May they give you strength for your journey.
And when you have been away long enough, far enough, done what you'd set off to do, been there so long that place too starts to feel like home.
Come back to the one universal, everywhere and everywhen and everyone inclusive home, this beloved community of all creation that you can never really leave.
Way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then why can't I?
As we extinguish the chalice, please join in saying these words by Orlando Brugnola. As we move through life finding ourselves, always newly wise and newly foolish, we ask that our mistakes be small and not hurtful. We ask that as we gain experience, we do not forget our innocence, for they are both part of the whole.
Source of love and learning, guide us in our pursuit of deeper understanding. May we be faithful participants in the practice of creating a world more whole and more loving. Go making peace, beloveds. See you soon.